All right, here we go. Mahaffey is in the booth. Dom is here with me. Hey, everybody, welcome to Joystick Maverick, episode 39. This episode's called WB Discovery is pulling in Ari Gold, and I think we're going to know why because of our main topic this evening. But it should be fun this week. We got a couple opening remarks, just general niceties. We got the interesting Tid Bits. We're going to talk about things like the Gray Man, Mythic Quest Season 3, a couple of game delays, a couple of game updates. And then Sandman is kind of our interim topic, and closing it out with our main topic being WB Discovery. I don't know if you guys can hear, but Dominic is not feeling well. He's pulling a flu game, a Michael Jordan flu game here.
Yeah.
He's been so polite. The schedule from me yesterday to today, so I'm going to try to rush through these early topics. Nobody's going to be left fully satisfied, but at least we'll get a little something. But this last round is going to be great. All right. One more thing. As always, this episode is brought to you by our friends, their sponsor at toughwraps.com. So go to toughwraps.com for all your supplements, your gear, all your apparel. Use code Joystick at checkout. Get 10% off your purchase. Easy peasy. Toughwraps.com. Code Joystick. 10% off. Boom. All right. What do you say, Dom? Let's start the show.
Yeah. The light on my camera.
What'll be weird is if they can't hear or see me dancing at all. Just hear me heavy breathing into the microphone. God,
that's a great song.
Freaking song. It's so
yeah, it's a great song.
It's like somebody we know wrote it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's wild stuff. Mahaffey, thank you as always for doing that intro and the outro. Hey man, I gotta tell you, first things first, I want to say thank you. You said, "Hey Ernie, listen, bro, if you want to get back into like reading some Marvel comics, start with New Avengers, run through New Avengers, get to a particular issue, and then you'll jump over to Infinity, you'll jump over to regular Avengers, and then you'll spider your way through. Dude, that was awesome. That was a good.
Did you read it?
Yeah, it was a good 3 days spent.
So fucking good, dude. That whole line of Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers to Infinity, and then like if you continue New Avengers after that, it leads directly into Secret Wars.
So that's where I'm at right now. I'm at basically the jump off point where we meet Thane, aka the son of Thanos, which we don't get in the MCU, but in the book he exists, and he's pretty Billy badass, aside from his friendly nature with the Ebony Maw. But I'm interested to see where it kind of takes the story from here. It also is kind of nice because that opens up the conversation around Wakanda and the interaction with Atlantis. And their conflict and how what could have been a good relationship was just destroyed by just doubt, So I'm looking forward to now Wakanda Forever a little bit more because of that. Now I've got an emotional investment and this conflict between these characters, in particular Shuri and Namor. Now that obviously Chadwick Boseman has passed. We potentially could see who the new Black Panther is. A lot of people are speculating different parts of the story to be changed based on the MCU's kind of mythos, but could be cool. How things on your end? Besides you being sick, damn.
Besides me being sick, no, things are good. I read that New Avengers run all the way up to kind of like the beginning of Secret Wars. I'm also reading Judgment, which is Avengers versus X-Men versus the Eternals, which is a new thing that's coming out.
Is that a part of the new Eternals run?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. I've only read one issue because I think there's only one issue out. I think issue 2 might have just come out. I'm going to my local comic book store. Well, I'm not. My wife is going tomorrow to pick up some things.
Like, I don't know if they're going to want you in there. Hey, guys. Cough, cough.
Yeah.
What's up? Can I get that new comic, please? Probably not a good
But
look.
It's cool. Like, it's like the whole premise of the story is Druig from the Eternals is like the X-Men are deviants. They have the deviant genes. So they're like, we're going to wipe them out. And the the X-Men are like, nah, bud, don't do that.
We don't like that.
Yeah, so
like we take issue with that, good sir.
It's good though. I like it. I read that. Like I said, I'm reading Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers run, which is really well done. I like what you said about the conflict between Wakanda and Atlantis, and how that's kind of like setting the stage for what we're gonna see this winter with Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Because like really in that story, like T'Challa plays an ancillary character in New Avengers, where he's like a part of the Illuminati, and he's like the king of the dead at that point.
Yes.
And Shuri is actually the queen of Wakanda and the Black Panther. She is jacked in the comic book. Oh my god, yeah, jacked. She is so jacked.
So that's kind of like where I've like the so I people who watch the MCU and they read the comic books, we understand there's liberties that have been taken with the comic book storyline. That's what I like so far with this is really kind of peeling back the little bit of flexibility they took with the Thanos storyline, because it's definitely tied in, and then now the flexibility with the Wakanda and Atlantis. So it's neat to see those pieces that were chosen to remain, and then to see pieces that were chosen, to kind of like, well, that's just unnecessarily detailed. But there's legit, I think, word for word quotes pulled from the comic. So like, it's definitely the source material has been respected, I think. So I'm again, with Secret Wars coming up and knowing the track record, and even just seeing this in hindsight, it's like, okay, this is gonna be pretty dope.
And
having
I wouldn't
said
count
that,
Thane.
I know Phase 4 is a little flimsy.
I wouldn't count Thane out of the MCU. The whole thing with Eros at the end of Eternals.
Oh, his brother, Star Fox. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a pretty interconnected storyline with Thane in the comic books as well. So like I could see him showing up at some point.
I would hope that would happen. I'd be curious how that would play out. Like if it's the vengeful son or just again, or somebody just trying to take out the Eternals because they're like, "Fuck you," right? Like,
or if he's actually an Inhuman, because in the books he's an Inhuman,
right? He's half Inhuman, half Thanos,
half Eternal.
But no, that's what I've been doing. Obviously, it's been only 2 weeks since we kind of pulled up. A lot of stuff's come out. A lot of stuff's happened. Was moving right into our next little bit of topic area. I'm calling it interesting tidbits. I don't have a better name. You know what? That's how this show works. So I get a little bit of passion about a name, like lightning round, and then I do it a certain way, and then I skim over it, and now we changed it to interesting tidbits, because tidbits is a fun word right now. The Gray Man, that came out.
Heard it's fun. I heard it's fun.
It was definitely a fun film. I had to watch it in 2 sittings only because being there, watching it on my phone, and then a baby wakes up, and you're like, okay, you got to go be a dad. But for what it was fun. You've got your typical big actors, Chris Evans. You've got Ryan Gosling, Billy Bob Thornton, Ana de Armas, and then I can't remember who played the older or the girl in the film. But it was definitely a fun thing to watch, and I think it was just an interesting take on the spy assassin turned running from the CIA storyline. But then we had not like a trailer, but like a teaser for Joker Folie à deux. I don't know. It takes two to dance, something like that. Was this in French?
I couldn't give a single fuck about this movie.
Is it because it's
Lady Gaga's
story?
No,
or is it because it's Lady Gaga?
No, it has nothing to do with that. Either of those things, really. I thought the original Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was good one time. Like, I've never watched it again.
I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, I thought it was good once.
I literally was like, man, this hit. And if I watch it again, it won't hit the same. It'll feel like, I know the ending, but I don't think those pauses, those tense scenes, the suspense will be as, oh, shit. So,
and we'll get into WB.
That's right.
WB, we got a lot to talk about with WB.
Yeah. Not WB, Apple TV's Mythic Quest Season 3 trailer just dropped.
On the opposite side, I can't be more excited for this.
I can't wait.
I fucking loved Mythic Quest, dude. So fucking hilarious.
Dude, the writers on that show must just be having a field day. I mean, they've got so much to pull from as far as
the Blizzard
video
stuff?
game content.
Oh my
Blizzard
God.
stuff. Yes. I mean, so much drama in real life, and there's so much to just take that, spin it on its head, make fun of it, and at the same time be like, yeah, that shit's still pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I want to see what the head of HR does with something like that. Like that actress and that character, she seems pretty intense. I think last season the only thing that I remember her doing was just getting lit at like a company party. I mean, like, you have to sign these waivers. Blah, 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 blah. And then actually Sam called out the next topic here in Tid Bits, Tactics Ogre Reborn. This is from Square Enix. It's coming out on Veterans Day, 11/11/2022. It'll be out for Nintendo Switch and PS5. But it seems like a turn-based like role-playing tactic game. It looked pretty... It reminded me... I had a lot of nostalgia. It reminded me of a lot of like that three-quarter view... almost Pokemon-esque kind of interface. I mean, the Legends of Zelda back in the day. But I guess it's a deeper storyline, and supposedly it's just going to be massive and just a little bit deeper than we're used to. So I'm sure if like people that would love to play your more tactical RPGs are going to be really heavy into it. There's got to be hours and hours of gameplay. I'm not really 100% sure how much time has been spent in creating it, but given that it's like I think the 7th game or something like that, like it should have a lot of history, lore, and content.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one I would love your opinion on this next topic. So, delays have been reported. Unfortunately, not for movies. It's for Marvel's Midnight Suns game. What was your initial thought when you saw this, Dom? I mean, you were definitely the one who told us about it.
It was really fucking rage at this point. Like, I guess, like, I mean, and because this isn't the only one, because Hogwarts Legacy got delayed today to February.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Like, I'm like, dude, like, I mean, I get it. Like, I definitely understand that there's a industry-wide problem with crunch and people don't want to put out bad games. But I'm like, dude, stop announcing fucking launch windows for the love of God.
A great big butt there. Yeah.
Starfield's been delayed a whole bunch. This is the third launch window that we've gotten from Hogwarts Legacy. Midnight Suns, like, I mean, that's not going to be the end all be all for me. It's an XCOM game based on the Midnight Sun, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But like, I was like, I think like we talked about it in Slack a little bit. It was like, when was the last time a game came out on time? And also
we
wasn't
had to dig
fun?
in the bag. We had to dig in the bag. I mean, granted, I think your first example was Elden Ring.
And that was fucked up.
How many years did it take to get it out, though?
Yeah.
Right? And it had some flaws, and they were quick to update. And it was so much content. I kind of
Guardians of the
benefit
Galaxy
of the doubt.
Was like the other single player experience that like came out on time, didn't make a bunch of waves, but was fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, I think we watched that trailer like almost this time last year.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Gamescom coming up in a week and a half, which is going to be fucking sick.
Yes.
So like, that's usually when a bunch of stuff gets announced, which is cool. But like, I mean, what is coming out this fall? Like at this point, I mean, you get a new Call of Duty, which is probably going to be fucked from launch.
Yeah, that's a big eye roll for me. I mean, at this point, that's like saying you get a new Fortnite every couple of weeks, which is my next topic. But yeah,
but I was really looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy being that like that holiday 2022 game that I can sink my teeth into during snow days and stuff. And now it's like not coming until February, so like I don't know. And then apparently God of War, I think that got delayed as well too. I think God of War got delayed, Mike. I'm not 100% sure. I thought it got delayed till early next year, but it could be late this year.
I feel like that might have been a topic we talked about previously. That God of War was delayed.
It was like
a bit. If they did it again, that would make a lot more sense too. Because I feel like we're getting down to that holiday crunch, where like timelines become solidified, and then release plans go in and marketing increases vastly. Like it's getting to that point where like, do they punt it? Q4 kicks off a month and a half from now. Yeah, that's making your nut time for for people in the industry.
Forspoken,
So,
which is the other like PlayStation exclusive game, got delayed till next year as well. Like, I mean, it's I don't know, and we're not getting anything big from either publishing, like either platform, the rest of the year. It seems like there's no like blockbuster Sony game that I don't, unless God of War comes out this year. There's definitely not an Xbox one. Everything's like pushed to next year.
That's interesting, man. I feel like they're going to lean heavily into your Call of Duties and things like that, just because they're on such a kind of a incremental rollout schedule, like every 90 days, every 6 months or something. Which is really rolls into my next topic. On August 16th, 2022, a teaser image has been released. Not to mention, this is on Twitter. The teaser image is Fortnite logo, and behind it is the reality tree in the game. And just currently, if you're playing the game, the reality tree is just this giant, basically lotus thing, and sprouting out of it is the dragon. It's saying, what is your wish, right? So that's kind of like, oh, super dope. Well, in the game, you've got, oh god damn, I'm gonna mess his name up. Who trained Goku when he was a kid? Taught him the Kamehameha. Master Roshi's house.
Yeah, Roshi, yeah.
Master Roshi's house. It's just a little island. Because when I logged in like yesterday, I was like, what the hell? Why is my background no longer this summer fest kind of thing? And I was like, I know that fucking house. And it's just this little island, that little house. I'm like, so we're going to get Dragon Ball characters in the fucking game? It's pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Well, hopefully it won't be like super terrible graphics wise. Like I feel like there's a way to treat those 3D models correctly. We'll see how it goes.
Fortnite, like Destiny, is really due for an engine update. Like, they're
thanks, Mahaffey.
Yeah, he did.
Our producer Mahaffey just let us know that Master Roshi had a weird infatuation with Kid Bulma. Yeah, that's true. I probably shouldn't. Is he canceled? He's canceled now, right?
Oh, yeah.
So now like Fortnite is canceled because they got his house in it, and we just know things could be happening in that house. I digress.
There's a Destiny showcase on the 23rd as well.
Okay.
Which is
and Destiny's another incremental kind of game to me.
That game needs the engine update more than anything right now. That game is like 5 fucking years old and needs like a full-on engine overhaul.
Really?
Just because it doesn't run very well now. It's a resource hog. It crashes a lot. It's good. I mean, the game is really good. The game still feels snappy.
And what are you playing it on? Like, what you're playing on PC? Okay. Well, and you definitely don't have a poor rig. Like me, I'd be like, oh, look at this thing at Costco. I bet it could run Destiny too. I'll buy that. Whereas yours is definitely pristinely picked. So that's saying something. Yeah, I mean there's some positivity in this whole section. Interesting tidbits. There's definitely not a lot of positivity. It's definitely negative.
Ace died today. That's enough. Ace died today.
Today.
I had no idea that she got into a car accident.
We started this year with In Memoriam. Here we are again, In Memoriam. I saw, how I found out that she got in an accident? All I saw was the video of her car zipping by a security cam in a residential area. And I was like, whoever's in that car is dead. Because you heard from the footage just a pop, slam. And then I found out who it was and looked it up and passed away today. Crazy. 3 days later, passed away. All right, the next topic. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch this yet or listen to the audio or okay.
Yeah.
Sandman. Oh, evidently she was high on coke. Thank you, Mahaffey. Yeah, that was the other thing. I guess they didn't find any alcohol in their system, just a bunch of cocaine. I mean, yeah, the speed.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Drive
speed with speed.
High on cocaine.
Yeah, she probably was like, I can see the future. I'm good. Guess what? She didn't see the future. Miss Cleo needed to call her. But no, Sandman came out last week, and it has been huge. I mean, just huge. I was actually in on the Twitter Spaces recently where Neil Gaiman, the writer of the original graphic novel, The Sandman, was on there. The actor who was playing the Corinthian and the actor who played Desire was on there. Just talking about their experience and how during COVID they were doing filming, and because of that intimacy they were forced to be together. They had a lot more of a bond as a cast. They talked about how even like the diner scene, if anybody's familiar with the comics or the audiobook or the book, it's the novel / audiobook itself, the diner scene was actually shot chronologically, so there wasn't like pieces. They spent time to go through each section and over
that's the episode that's coming up for me right now, is the diner. And I know the diner scene very well, and I'm watching it with Ash, and I was like, it's been pretty tame thus far. Just wait. Like, I told her, I was like, it's gonna get real bad in the next episode if they do anything like that.
I mean, it definitely there's no way they're gonna get as graphic as the book, right? But having said that, they did a pretty good job, I think. And you could tell the actors in that moment really sold it, and you could tell, like, because they were doing it tightly packed in days, they were feeling the fatigue.
Oh,
so like you could see the actors and the characters feeling the drain of a 24-hour period with Dr. D. Spoiler alert, but I want to see what occurs in that moment.
It looks good. Like, as an overall series, it's pretty faithful thus far to the source material. It is beautifully shot. Mm-hmm. The episode where it's Lucifer and Dream was like lifted straight from the comic book.
So
perfectly
good.
Done.
So
like
good.
Gwendolyn Christie kills it as Lucifer.
Which, I mean, if you're a fan of the Lucifer show, I can see you being a little upset.
It's hard.
You're like,
it's hard.
On.
Yeah, like Tom Ellis. I mean, he's incredible.
But I think she did a great job.
I thought she did a great job too.
Great job of being ominous, and at the same time, kind of having this moment of like weakness, being beholden to her billion demons. So
the Joanna Constantine thing was really cool too. I like that.
Yeah, talk to me about that. That's something I wanted to touch on. So
they don't own the rights. That's the problem.
Right.
So they don't own the rights to John Constantine. So they had to use a different Constantine. The way that
Joanna is a Neil Gaiman character, he made her up.
Yeah.
So it's his, right? Like, awesome.
I mean, she played him just like. She played him just like I imagine John Constantine from the book. I mean, that whole sequence between her and her ex and how they get the pouch of sand back.
Yeah. Even that, like, her recurring nightmare with the demon snatching the kid, that's straight up one of Constantine's biggest
things.
Character tropes, right?
Yeah.
It's just his torture from that. So that was super cool to me. I think let me see. Yeah, the other thing that, granted, they glossed over it, but it was a nice nod to people who, again, read the comics or listened to the audiobook. The woman who grabs him in hell and she calls him out, and he suddenly changes face to her.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't know that he appears to people differently, you wouldn't have caught that. If you didn't know the story about those two, that wouldn't have been as impactful. But I encourage anybody that has the time or
listen to the audiobook.
Just listen to it.
It's so fucking good. I think James McAvoy plays Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Taron Egerton plays Constantine. Yep. Like, I mean, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, Kat Dennings plays Death. She does a great job. She just sounds like whimsical. I'm like, you're Death. Seeing her in the MCU and then hearing her on that, I'm like, that's so weird. Just because they're completely different characters, but no, it's awesome. Apparently, they did screen tests with Morpheus in full-on comics accurate garb, black eyes, wild hair. So, oh, really? How did that go?
Probably not well.
I mean, I'm assuming the clothes.
I like the way that Sturridge looks as Dream, and he has that very gothic look to him in the show. Anyway.
Yeah, the irony for me is, like, after listening to the audiobooks and James McAvoy playing his deadpan voice, Neil wanted Morpheus to be able to blend into a crowd. That's fair. That's definitely fair. But hearing James McAvoy's voice and him being very kind of bland, and then hearing this guy, I was like, they're fucking the same person. Like,
dude, they sound so much alike.
It's crazy.
And I mean, shout out to fucking James McAvoy, who could literally act his ass off in anything that he's in. Played 21 different personalities in Split. I mean,
he was a woman with diabetes in Split. Like,
yo, he's a fucking monster, dude. I love him. I watched the clip, I watched the clip of X-Men. I think it's X-Men Apocalypse or X-Men Days of Future Past. No, it's definitely Apocalypse. Or no, it's definitely Days. It's the end of Days of Future Past, where he's like, where he's talking to Magneto, and Fassbender's like, "What are you gonna do when they come knocking on your door for your children?" And like McAvoy is like, I feel very sorry for whoever comes to my school and starts trouble. And I was like, dude, he like fucking killed it. I loved both of them as Magneto and X.
Honestly, man, so that's a whole nother episode. Is could they keep those two actors in the MCU? Is there a possibility? I would love that. I mean, even Giancarlo Esposito potentially being Professor X is now the big rumor floating around. I'm like, I would love do anything too. So like,
the dichotomy.
I'd be cool to see that.
I would love the dichotomy of this MCU's X and Magneto being an allegory to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Yes.
Like, that would be fucking awesome.
Right, because in the comics, it's, very Nazi driven. Well, guess what? Say Nazis almost a century ago. But yeah, I mean, to your point, I would love that to be their origin points, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the anger comes from for Magneto, and that's where the desire to find peace comes from Professor X.
Like, you put like Magneto at fucking Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? During that massacre. Yeah. And it has, I mean, it has that levity of, because you saw that in The Watchmen, the first episode of the Watchmen series.
Yeah.
You're like, man, shit, that was fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly. And that's why those characters are so angry. That's why, I mean, again, whole nother episode. But
yeah. But Sandman's awesome.
Would love it. But Sandman's
so fucking good.
I felt a little, about half a second of guilt, because I was watching it pretty steady with Michelle, and then she fell asleep. I was like, well, I'm gonna keep watching it. And then it was 4 a.m. and I was like, shit, I got work tomorrow. But I finished it. I got through the whole thing. And and it wasn't even like I got through it. It was like, fuck, there's no more left.
That's how I felt about Stranger Things, dude. Like, that's how I felt about Stranger Things, the first part, before part 2 came out. It's like it's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm like staring at my television, and I'm like,
as you feel your eyes cracking,
yeah,
your eyeballs just drying out. All right, so that was, I think we did a really good justice. Kind of spoiler free, never like, hey, this.
The comic book's been out for such a long time. I mean,
yeah. So
we didn't give any away major plot points. So
listen, the graphic novel came out in 1991 or 1993. I think it's 1991.
Something.
And it won. It was the only graphic novel to have won the short story award at the time. They actually changed the rules for that competition to not even allow graphic novels, because I think a bunch of short story writers were like, the fuck, bro? You a graphic novel won this? Well, shit. Well, unfortunately, too bad, so sad. And now no other graphic novels are allowed to win it. So it was renowned before this show came out. So I think we're in a grace period. a 40-year-old grace, or 35-year-old grace period.
Yeah.
So next up, our main event, our big topic. There's no spoilers here.
No, there's no spoilers. It's because nothing's coming out.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and throw this up. This week's big topic is WB and Discovery. The atrocities, the potential. I listed out basically 6 statements here. There's cancellations. There's still alive. I'm air quoting here, still alive. There's a 10-year plan, supposedly. I want to talk about why it's dumb. I want to talk about why it could work. And I do kind of think there might be some levity to it. And I also want to talk about Kevin Smith and even him with his like long history of comic book and things like that. Like his life in comic books, his own daughter being named after the comic character. Actually the character was introduced in a TV show, but that doesn't matter. So first off, Cancellations, right? So we've got the WB up here. I'm going to remove that for now. Cancellations were huge. I'm going to pull up a list of things that have been canceled since the merger of the Discovery and HBO. And then there's going to be, of course, ones on top of that since we've learned. First off, they shut down CNN Plus like a week after it launched. The guy came in, shut it down. What's his name? Vaslav?
Yeah. A buddy of mine worked for that. And
no
like,
way.
Yeah, he said it was fucking awful.
They launched for a week, and he came in and was like, "The numbers are shit. Shut it down." Next one was Raised by Wolves, a show I've talked about on this show,
like multiple episodes
times.
ago.
Yeah. The season just ended. It was great. It was heading places. Close Enough got shut down. The Gordita Chronicles. I wonder why that got shut down. Racist. Made for Love, Chad, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Three Busy Debras, Joe Para Talks with You, Naomi, Legends of Tomorrow, Snowpiercer, the Wonder Twins film, Scoob, Holiday Haunt, and then Batgirl. On top of that, that's right, you heard me, Batgirl, the basically completed $90 million film was canceled, along with any plans for Black Superman, Static Shock, Green Lantern series that I believe was going to be following Jon Stewart. And then of course this unnamed, I think adventure series that Kevin Smith was working on that had hopes of having like Bizarro introduced.
This is also not complete because Doom Patrol and Titans are on the block as well.
Oh, really?
Which is bullshit because Gotham Knights is still fucking coming out.
No, I thought they canceled.
No, they walked it back. They said that Gotham Knights is still coming out.
You are fucking shitting me.
No, dude.
Is it because it crosses over with the Flash? Like, is that they're going to get one season to be done?
They're talking about canceling the fucking Flash movie now too. Like, I mean.
So yeah, that's the next topic. So. The still alives are the Flash, which is a joke. We're coming back to that. The Penguin series, Constantine, which this does have the rights to, the John Constantine series, and then the movie obviously Aquaman 2 is still going. We've got Shazam, Fear of the Gods, Black Adam, but the Flash, how the fuck could you still have the Flash coming out over?
Well, they're weighing three options. They're weighing three options now, and all three options are crazy. The first one is like Ezra Miller goes and does a press conference and then like cools it. Not happening. The second one is someone else does the marketing for Flash and it comes out. Not happening. What, are they going to have Keaton do it? I mean, Keaton's going to draw a crowd, but it's not a Batman movie.
Oh, well, that's the other thing, too. You think Keaton's not going to keep it real? Stand-up comedian, thinks on his toes, has no problem just burning whatever bridges because he's fucking Batman.
Just had another of his projects canceled in Batgirl. Like,
I'm sure he'd be like, yeah, it's a fucking shit show. You should just watch it because it's fucking terrible. Or whatever.
And then the third option is just scratching it, which is a $200 million movie, which at this point I think is the only option. And Mike said something very poignant, is that if the main actor isn't white, it's canceled, which is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Like Leslie Grace's Batgirl, the Black Superman, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. I think the only movie is like that is having an ethnic lead is Blue Beetle right now. And like that has mysteriously been very quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen there. I mean, that could just be. See, that's the thing. I think there's probably nothing coming out about Blue Beetle because where are they at in filming? Are they even filming? Has that been paused for any particular reason? It's insane. It's definitely, it feels like racial undertones when you can list off legit, like one-to-one number comparisons that shows or movies that have leads that are not white and male or white cisgender male are not getting canceled or not even talking about being on the chopping block. You've got someone who's got multiple arrests out for them. They're questioning if they should be allowed to be in a press junket. That person is emotionally, mentally, and physically unstable. Like, I don't get it. And if you're worried about the tax write-off, release Batgirl. Hell, put more money into Batgirl to release it. and then don't release the Flash because he doesn't deserve it. He does not deserve it. That's your tax write-off. You've just covered all of these expenses. Now you can actually continue these other shows that these people want, and people want to see representation of themselves. But you could cancel the Flash and still make your tax breaks. Like, sorry, the tax break excuse has now lost all fucking legs for me. That's
and bullshit. Like, Mike sent me this video of the guy from Variant, Aris Quinones, talking about like the reason why Batgirl was canceled because they were trying to set up Batgirl. They were possibly trying to set up Batgirl and Supergirl as like the main, like the Batman and Superman of the DCU. And like they can't do that because those characters are side characters and that they need to lean heavily into Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. But like Wonder Woman's a fucking shit show. Wonder Woman 1984 was fucking trash. Batman, Ben Affleck, I don't think is coming back other than his appearance in Aquaman. And then, I mean, Batman Rob Pattinson is great, but that's its own isolated thing. And like Matt Reeves has been fucking adamant that that is its own isolated thing. So like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't see that happening there. And then like, don't even get me fucking started on Superman. I mean, like that guy has showed up in the DCEU as an unnamed actor more times than he showed up on fucking screen as Superman. And it was Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I think we've seen more of just his feet and a cape.
His torso, yeah.
Yeah, a blur. I'm going to pull up on screen for those watching live or tomorrow on video on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So this is straight from the investors' PowerPoint deck. This is public knowledge. You can actually go to their site and download it without any kind of behind-the-scenes access. This is just a presentation they have for their 10-year plan. And I want to put up this slide in particular because we know under the umbrella of WB Discovery, you've got HBO, Discovery, CNN, HGTV, Cartoon Network, DC as a whole, and Looney Tunes. But they're pointing out big franchises here on the next line down. You just mentioned it: Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Shark Week, Game of Thrones, 90 Day Fiance universe. I guess now there's a fictional universe for 90 Day Fiance.
People love that fucking shit, dude.
And then with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, like those. Fine. Those are big franchises. I'll give you five of those franchises have had bullshit the last 5 years. Are you kidding me? Game of Thrones is still trying to recover from its season 8 debacle. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter. A whole other show.
Right. Harry Potter's trying to recover from the Fantastic Beasts bullshit and then firing Johnny Depp, who was exonerated as being an abuser.
I thought you were just going to say recovering from J.K. Rowling's tweets.
Also, yeah, J.K. Rowling is marred in controversy. Batman's like the only stable of those three properties because Matt Reeves is killing it. Wonder Woman 1984 is a shit show. And Superman, again, like they don't know what to fucking do to Superman because it's either he's overacting, he's underacting, he's not smiling enough, he's smiling too much, or if you're Steve Townsley, he fucking kills and he's not supposed to kill. Like, I mean, fuck that. Like, I mean,
thank you, Mahaffey, for also pointing out the Fantastic Beasts is also an Ezra Miller project.
Ezra Miller project.
I just love this guy. He's got to be a nephew of somebody important. And then up here, they've got iconic series and characters. Friends has not been out for like 2 decades.
Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Sex and the City, Property Brothers have not been out for fucking years.
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives continues to live because Guy Fieri is just awesome. I hope nothing ever comes out terrible about that guy. He could be a dickhead to his employees for all I give a shit, but just nothing really gross. Fixer Upper, I never really liked that show anyway. But then International, I have no idea about most of these. I've watched some D-Max, but in Discovery Kids, I might know somebody that works there, but you know what I'm saying? So, but the third bit that we're talking about the WB Discovery was this 10-year plan, and it sounds like what the plan is to create a new streaming service combining HBO Max and Discovery Plus into like one mega house kind of stop all place. I've heard grumblings and rumblings. They want to tank the stock or tank all of the credibility around these properties so that they can sell them to a bigger streaming service or platform. I don't care. You've got HBO Max that agreeably, as far as like one of the newer streaming services over the past several years, in a pandemic no less, hit really big, man. Like, You had 4K amazing movies come out. Mortal Kombat.
Dune. Mortal Kombat.
The terrible Matrix movie.
The Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
You've got all of these great properties that came out, and it worked. It fucking worked. And what you're saying is, that's not really working. We're going to go try to merge it into Discovery Plus.
Dude,
my
and they're
question
trying.
was like, why?
Oh my god,
why?
Dude, and they're trying to do this like Marvel Cinematic Universe thing with the DCEU and appoint a Kevin Feige, and the name that's being thrown around is fucking Greg Berlanti of the Arrowverse. Are you fucked?
Yeah,
like it's the Arrowverse. The first couple of seasons of Arrow were tight. The first couple of seasons of Flash were tight, but every other fucking property has been a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, and arguably, you know, that the CW universes. Shows they are definitely limited by their budget. That's fine. That's fair. But you can't take that and then go, well, now we're going to apply it to the movies or, you know, the real big DCEU. That won't work. And I can tell you it's not going to work because you don't want to. He came out saying he wants to stick to movies and not TV shows. Guess what? Chicken butt. The Marvel MCU also had TV shows. And guess what's on Disney fucking Plus for the past year? TV shows. What are you talking about? Get it together, man. And
maybe, are you gonna like?
I mean,
are you gonna fucking say? Are you gonna sit there and tell fans you're gonna come out at fucking Comic-Con next year after you do all this bullshit and be like, we got a 10-year plan for the DCEU. There's gonna be a new Batman. There's gonna be a new Superman. There's gonna be a new Wonder Woman, and we're building towards Final Crisis or Crisis on Infinite Earths, and you'll be able to see it in 2033.
I'll tell you right now,
nobody
will cheer. You'll hear people's eyes roll, and you'll
Soups
walk.
Will.
And people will walk out of Hall H.
Like Soups will fucking cheer. Soups will be like, "Oh man, DC's back on it again." Like
that guy. I mean, I've never seen a more roided out teenager in my life. I like that guy. Crazy. He's so hyped all the time, but like his hype gets. I mean, if I'm hungover and he pops up on TikTok, I'm swiping. But no, man. I to your point, there's no real way to kind of recover. Except for maybe this is why I had it might work is if you purge all your current all your current work.
Agreed.
Like if you
don't release some of it, get rid of all of it.
You have to cut the head off the snake, man. You've got to just cut out the infection. And what you had worked. You had Henry Cavill, that worked. Even Ben Affleck, for all of his criticism, that worked. Gal Gadot with time. And what I mean by time is with her, the directing team, the writing team, they had time. They could have had something, but for some reason, I think Wonder Woman 84 was that first simultaneous release in theaters and at home. Yeah. Christmas of last year. And that just felt forced and rushed. I mean, she's literally rolling on the ground with a stuffed doll at one point, and we're supposed to just go, oh, that's normal. So
and the star power in that movie is incredible. I mean, it's insane. Like, I mean, you have Pedro Pascal as fucking Maxwell Lord, and you have Kristen Wiig, who's a goddess playing Cheetah. Yep. Like, I mean, and so you couldn't put out a good movie. Like,
yeah, exactly. So like, don't tell me we're just going to go to the movies because that's going to work. I think what needs to take place is definitely some time to regroup. Just cut all the bullshit because I feel like Flash had so many reshoots at this point. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I saw a statistic that was like the movie The Flash was announced before the show The Flash ever came out. Now the show The Flash will actually end its final season before the movie Flash will come out.
It's the Uncharted movie.
It's insane.
Mark Wahlberg was playing Nathan Drake when that movie was announced and aged out of the fucking role and played Sully. Like, yes. I mean, it's the Uncharted movie, which I thought was quite fun, which is another WB property that or Sony property that aired on HBO Max, I think. Maybe not. I might have bought it.
That's a great point from Mahaffey, too. Even great actors can't make up for bad writing. That's 100% true. I do love I'm sure you saw it, the video with Kevin Smith talking about the ending of his show, and he talked about how he had this bizarro story and how he was going to try to get, some actual big deal actors to be in the Bizarro movie, and he describes this entire overture where people end up in a Bizarro universe, but he's basically a god person that got an issue of the Daily Planet, saw Superman's, and tried to create the version of that world on his planet. So he took the mantle of Superman, and his people were people of Metropolis, and come to find out, actually they're all terrified of him because he's a godlike person, and slowly yet surely the cracks and the wrinkles start to appear to show that it is definitely a Bizarro, terrifying person, not a superhero, not Superman, and that he was trying to get Nicolas Cage to play Bizarro.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, and Mahaffey just with that line, Mahaffey's point of even great actors can't make up for bad writing. I'm pretty sure Nicolas Cage could. But
I would say even a bad actor like Nicolas Cage can act good with good writing.
Oh, I was gonna say, but then again, I've seen Ghost Rider 2, and that was fucking awful.
And The Wicker Man.
And The Wicker Man. Oh yes,
but
I mean,
this whole
do one
10-year
for
plan,
them, do one for yourself.
Like this whole 10-year plan, like what happens to Rob Pattinson's Batman? Arguably the most solid foundation for a DC product right now is Matt Reeves' Batman. Like, so are they going to reboot this whole DCEU and they're going to make fucking Pattinson the Batman going forward, and then they're going to run into the problem of having to try to introduce Wonder Woman and fucking Superman, like, because that's not the tone that movie has. And then like they're doing this crazy shit with the Joker and Lady Gaga, like the Joaquin Phoenix Lady Gaga musical that they're doing with the Joker. Like whatever, fine, but like you're confusing people. You know what Marvel's not doing? Marvel is not putting out projects that don't connect back. And if they want to do this all-encompassing universe, they're either going to have to kill anything to do with Matt Reeves' Batman, or make Rob Pattinson the Batman and make Matt Reeves like that whole thing, the Iron Man of the DCEU. And they're going to have to kill all of these side projects or all these extra projects that they're fucking working on, because like you're going to confuse people, and then you're going to split your audience, because like Loki, like, I mean, think of Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like if those were isolated projects that didn't really connect to the greater narrative of the universe, you'd be like, man, they're okay. Like they're fine, but like, why do I want to watch it? I mean,
exactly. I mean, WandaVision had its faults as any show does, especially those last like episodes, it's just goofy and weird and like, oh, this is kind of gimmicky. But the cheese only stood out and stood alone because it was part of the greater universe. So Mahaffey mentioned this in our communications with all of us, that DC's got a normal universe and it's got its black label side, and I think that's a great way to kind of tag the Batman with Robert Pattinson and Joker as this separate one-off series. Like they just exist on their own. Hell, even if you want to go back and retroactively label, the Christopher Nolan franchise is Black Label. Like those are just one-offs. These are just parallel universes where there's only these characters. Fine, but you're to your point, man. There's no way they're going to be able to move forward with what they've got. They've got to stop and start all over, or I mean, just act like Joss Whedon never shit in everybody's mouth with that terrible version of Justice League. Yeah. But we've still got Aquaman 2 coming out. And now it's still potentially The Flash. It's just, I lack confidence, and it's upsetting because I'm a DCU guy from the beginning, right? So I grew up with Superman, Batman, Jonathan Williams doing the music for Superman, and Danny Elfman doing Batman. Like I grew up with those movies, and now here we are. I'm heavy into Marvel, even reading the comics and catching up with more of that mythos. And I'm happy that at least someone's being successful, because it's pushing the genre forward and we get more, of these fantastical adventures. It's saddening to see when good hard work, months and months of work, millions of dollars of worth of effort just aren't going to be released, and the excuse is
it tested bad, and it tested bad,
and it tested bad. We don't care. Put it on fucking HBO Max as the last thing you release on there before you shut down that service.
Yeah,
like release it for free on YouTube if you're really upset about it. But they to get that tax break, they can't. They'll never release it.
Yeah,
it's got to be smuggled out, and hopefully not have gold stamped on every single page of the script in the back of somebody else's trunk. So, thank you, Vaslav, for being. I guess I think at some point you can have enough money that it's okay to be hated by so many, or to be not trusted by so many. I think he's got a history of really successful, moves. Hopefully this is one of those, and we can all just go like, man, remember that time? Remember the pandemic, and like people just didn't know what they were doing with DC? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's hopefully we get past that. But on that note, man, yeah, Kevin Smith's property. Thank you, Mahaffey, for throwing this out there. Was called Strange Adventures. It was supposed to follow the adventures of Adam Strange. If you ever watched the show Krypton on Sci-Fi, Adam Strange was a kind of not say a pivotal character, but he was definitely a main part of the storyline where he's trying to help Kal-El's grandfather, not Jor-El, but the dad of Jor-El, kind of find his purpose and saying, your grandson's going to be the greatest hero of all time. I love that show too. They did a great job of doing a terrifying doomsday reveal in it. But here we are. I'm literally talking about more dead WB properties.
Yeah.
So, and Mahaffey cracked the joke. He's like, "Hey, you might want to watch Sandman before WB pulls it."
Right.
It's like, oh my God, you're right. They are literally setting fire to everything. Do you think Sandman's going to get a second season?
Absolutely not.
The entire Twitter space time, like when they were just asking questions, and Neil was replying, he was like, in the second season, if we get a second season, you could hear it. You could just hear the sadness.
Yeah.
You could hear that he's like hoping and planning for season 2 and 3, and he would catch himself hoping. He would catch it, and he'd be like, if there is a season. And you could just hear the tone drop. It was, man, I felt bad. I was like, at least you've had success with the content, but at the same time, like, this season was so fucking good. The visuals were great. The transitions between rooms was great. So here's hoping to better things from that. But I mean, man, we started off pretty good. I think positive vibes, rolling pretty quick, and then
just put it in the dirt.
Yeah, in memoriam, the DCEU. But man, a fun episode. Kept it kind of tight, under an hour. Oh, here we go. Mahaffey with WB on fire and Netflix falling apart. There's no way Sandman gets into the season.
Netflix is not really falling apart. They're turning into
attitude.
They're turning into an actual streaming service instead of lightning in a bottle with what they were. So hopefully, they don't.
I think gone is the age of any streaming service not having commercials. And we're all going to be entering into this either premium, I don't want commercials era, or we're all just going to get brainwashed. We thought we were done with cable. We thought we were away from all the content with commercial interruptions. Nah. It took a little bit of time for them to get their technology together. It sucks. But Dom, any closing arguments?
No, I'm going to go take a whole dose of NyQuil and pass out.
All right. Well, I'll leave us with this. Thank you, everybody who watches and listens. Please hit subscribe. Please click that bell. Comment. We'll see it. We're going to see you next time. Man, we've got a couple of things coming out. Nothing crazy. I think we've got
Lord of the Rings and House of the Dragon.
Andor.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, we got some stuff. I still need to watch I Am Groot, but so we'll have a couple episodes coming up, a couple weeks here, and should be a nice kickoff. Even Gamescom, so we've got things happening.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again, always to our sponsor, Tough Wraps. Have a great night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.